I would tell you that I'm a big proponent of NLI. Most coaches like to say, "Oh, things have changed," and this, that, and I think they've changed rightfully so. The reality is as a coach, I've had people say things about me and stuff like that. Um, have I ever given a guy money to take care of his flat tire? Yes, I've done that. Have I ever given a guy money to pay his rent? All right, because NCAA rules said that he had to sleep somewhere on his own until a certain date. Like, man, I'm not going to let guys be hungry. I'm not going to let guys, drive on four bald tires because I know, first off, they're going to drive that car. All right. They're going to go to their girlfriends. They're going to go to their buddies. You know, have I given guy a loan so that he can get into his apartment so that when he gets his Pell Grant, he pays us back and stuff like 100%. Have I ever cheated in a way that I thought gave us a competitive advantage to win a football game? Absolutely not. I don't make enough money. I don't have nowhere have I ever worked that we have money like that we could do crazy stuff. Now, look, this is a true story, Jacob. I will tell you that that I had a player that was recruited by two major universities. All right. And those two universities, their coaches were elite coaches that were totally professional, that totally followed every rule, and they did it exactly right. And then a week before signing date, another major university came in and paid his girlfriend, all right, to get him to go to their school. So they gave her the money to give to him, all right. And he went to that school and started at that school for 2 years. The two schools that did it the right way and followed the rules, within a year, both of those coaching staffs were fired for losing, and the coaching staff that had gotten the kid paid, their contracts had been extended for winning. And that's a real thing that happened. Now, those two schools that were following the rules can also pay their players. All right. And so now those coaches, I believe if the same situation happened today, that school that won and got contract extensions, all right, they would have never gotten that player because the other two schools could have offered the same thing within the rules and given him what they were giving him. And so, uh, I think the idea of having those type of rules is for parity and this and that. But the truth of the matter is uh, you have to give everybody the opportunity to be the best version of themselves. And look, we had at Indiana, we had the largest weight room in college football. All right. Why? To attract guys. It wasn't like it made our guys stronger. All right. The reality is we had money. We couldn't give it to the players. So we built these great facilities to attract guys to come there who had no money. All right. Like I would have much rather had a reasonable weight room and my guys could pay for their mom to come to the game. Right. Do you have any, Jake? I want you to think about something.
Yes, sir.
You go to the University of Florida, correct?
I do. I also went to the University of Miami for undergrad. Funny
Okay.
enough, I'm also from Miami. So when you told me you were there, that
Yeah.
was pretty funny. Yeah.
So I want you to think about this. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. How much does a hotel room cost game day weekend?
Oh,
Okay.
just absurd.
Yes. So think about this. So Jacob, you are from Miami, okay,
Yes, sir.
and you're an elite football player, all right. And Indiana University it recruits you, and we're going to give you a full scholarship to come to school. Wow, that's awesome. So we're going to give you a full scholarship to come to school, all right. Now, when I first started coaching, we could bring you on a visit, but we couldn't bring your parents. Okay. So your parents would have had to pay for your visit, their part of the visit. Okay. So you're a great football player. Your parents can't afford to come up for the visit. So we bring you up on the visit. We show you around. We show you the biggest weight room in college football. We show you all this stuff, and you decide to come to school for us. All right. So now you go back home, you graduate from high school, and now you're going to come to school and you're going to school. You're in Indiana, your parents are in Miami. And of course, they want to come up and see you play. Well, they got to buy a plane ticket. All right. They got to get a rental car. They got to stay in a hotel. Okay. At a Big Ten football game. Like the hotels are outrageous. They got to have a plane. By the way, it's mom and dad, so it's times two, or it's mom and sister, or dad and brother, or
Could be all of those.
right? Could be all those coming up there. Think how expensive that is. So you know what happens most of the time? They don't come. So I'd be coaching in Indiana. Game would be over. There's 100,000 people at the game, and now the game ends, and we got 8 guys from Florida who are all waiting after for a pizza. So we all give them a pizza, and they all walk off by themselves because their friends and family aren't at the game. All right, they're all home because they couldn't afford to come. That's a shitty existence. I would have much rather had a much more reasonable weight room and been able to give those guys, whatever money that the market, like America's a great place because the market dictates value. All right. No one's given any of these football players their last dollar. Okay. Jimbo Fisher gets fired at Texas and they write him a $70 million check.
That's insane.
Because the money's there. So why wouldn't it, like, you're telling me that 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 if we sell the kid's shirt, he shouldn't get a little bit of it? Like you're in the stands and everybody's wearing your shirt or your pictures on the stadium. Like, give him what he's worth. Give him what it. And if Miami wants to give you $1 million to play quarterback for them, awesome. Ohio State won the national championship last year, and right after it, someone said to me, "Yeah, they bought them a championship." I go, "Good." Like they wanted to win a championship, so they invested in football. If they invested in a theater program and had the best theater program in the country, all right, like that's cool too. Everyone gets to choose what they want to be good at. It costs, what's it cost? $100,000 a year to go to Harvard?
Yeah,
Well,
it's crazy.
if that's what they want to charge, cool. Well, do that. All right. Because you get to dictate to the market. They can charge 100,000 because people want to go there.
Yeah.
All right. Ohio State, you know, I guarantee they didn't lose money this year. All right.
No.
So, and by the way, there are people, but at Ohio State, when they lost to Michigan, they wanted to fire their coaches. Why? Because the expectation is to win that game. And if I said to you, Jacob, I will pay you X number of dollars, and that's some insane value. You're like, yeah, I want that money. There's only one rule. You have to win that game. Okay, that's the deal. Like, when somebody comes to cut my grass, all right, they come to cut my grass, and I go, how much is it? They go, it's $20. Cool. All right, good deal. I'll give you $20 to cut my grass. They say it's $100. And I'm like, I don't know if I want my grass cut that bad. Okay. Like everybody has their value, and Ohio State values football, and in Texas A&M values football, and Miami values football. And so that's cool. that's what they want to do. And so I'm glad to see that that players get what they deserve. Coaches are getting what they do. Everybody gets what they deserve in a free market.
Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I agree. And it's also like, like as kind of as you like elocuted very well, it's like supply and demand, right? Like there's enough of a demand where Kane's Collective can give Carson Beck $6 million, then he should get it, I guess, right? Because like that's just like with the market, that's what the supply and demand marketplace basically is saying. Um,
Do you know why I didn't get $6 million to play for the University of Miami? Because I wasn't good enough. Like that Carson Beck got that because like whatever he's done in his life has led him to the point that someone who has $6 million was willing to say, I will give you $6 million.
yeah,
All right. I mean, isn't that what this like? That's
it's
what our society is about. You know,
capitalism,
it's
basically.
capitalism.
That's what it is. Yeah, and it's like, because people say, oh, it's supposed to be like just your name, image, and likeness, and the collectives is a whole other thing. But the collectives are still dictating, it's still dictatorial, I guess, is the word of their market value, so to speak. So that's a great point.
I mean,
Uh,
that's if my school wants to invest in any program, what if we wanted to have the best band? I was watching uh, some the other day, and you see the Grambling bands and the Southern bands and stuff like. You can tell bands are important to them, and they invest into their bands, and
FAMU.
other
Yeah.
schools don't because that's what they find value in.